Hey folks, Blair from Nose Creek Sport Physiotherapy, where we get you moving faster and feeling better. All right, so today's topic is four kind of natural movements that you can do to maintain your mobility and make your joints feel young, and that's what we all want, right? So, typically as we age, we're getting into our careers, and especially when you get kind of into middle age, you're promoted to a management job. Now you're forced to sit on a desk most of your day, so our mobility starts to be at a loss because we're not doing sort of dynamic movements like we used to maybe in our younger years. So here's four things you can try to kind of test yourself, and you can use these tests as sort of exercises. So the first one is crawling. Well, the first functional core exercise we did as children was crawling, and crawling works a ton of muscles in your trunk. So it works muscles basically your hands, your elbows, your wrist, and connects your shoulder girdle to your trunk, as well as your hips as well. I really think crawling is something that's underestimated, and as you advance with your crawling skills, you can even do what I call a bear walk, where you're walking on your hands and the tips of your toes, kind of with your knees bent to 90 degrees underneath your hips. That would be kind of something I do every once in a while in the gym, just to sort of test my mobility and strength. But if you're just starting off, basically go on your hands and knees, try lifting one arm up and then see how that feels, and then try lifting the other arm up, see how that feels, and then try straightening one leg out, see how that feels, and then try straightening the other leg out and see how that feels. That would be kind of the crawling sort of start position, and then you can actually start crawling and taking steps forwards, backwards, and side to side. The next one's squatting. Our joints basically have sort of cartilage on the end of them. So, basically it's like shock absorbing tissue that's made out of sort of 60 to 70% water. The way the tissues get lubricated is through movement. So if we're not moving our joints and we're sitting all day, they're going to kind of dry out and get stiff, would be kind of the analogy. So by moving, it's like we're kind of lubricating those joints, and we're getting things sort of moving as far as the tissue and the fluid within the joint. So that's why squatting is great, because you can move every single joint from the neck all the way down to your toes. So when you're starting off doing squatting, put a chair up behind you rather, and then just sort of start squatting down slowly, and just do shallow squats to start with. As you're getting better, you can increase your depth of your squat and your repetitions. Maybe just do 3 sets of 5 to start with, and then work you up to 3 sets of 20 as your strength increases. The next one is balancing. A lot of us as we age, we tend to lose our balance. So, when was the last time you walked on a log and kind of challenged your balance, or walked on the edge of a curb? So, when we're working on balance, what's happening is we have our eyes are going into our brain for visual input, our ears, or inner ears, helping with balance, and then we have nerves in our feet all the way up our legs that are basically firing, that attach to our spinal cord, that go right into our brain. So there's lots of neurological activity going on when we're balancing. And if we don't keep sort of testing that and using that, it does kind of slow down, and that puts us at a high risk for falls. So one thing you can do at home is just basically stand like a flamingo, put your arms out, lift one foot a couple inches off the floor, see if you can hold that statically. If that's easy, then you can do some arm circles, 30 forward, 30 backwards, and then sometimes if that's easy, I tell people to do the swim stroke forward, swim stroke backwards, and then even do the alphabet ABCs in a weight bearing position. So the non-weight bearing foot is doing the alphabet while you're standing on the other leg. Another thing you can do is you can run a piece of tape sort of 6 to 8 feet down a hallway and just walk that line if you can. And then if that gets easy, maybe try walking sidestepping on that line, or walking backwards on that line, just to challenge your balance a little bit more. So these are things that definitely will help, as we age, to stimulate those proprioceptive nerves. The other one is sort of getting up off the floor. That's another, for seniors, can be a real challenge. So, what we'll do is we'll get people on their hands and knees, and we'll say, okay, I want you to bring your left foot forward. So they're in kind of a lunge stance. From that lunge stance, we're going to contract our tummy, we're going to squeeze our cheeks, and we're going to thrust up. And if you need help initially, you want to have a chair beside you, or a cane, whatever you need, that's fine. Assistive devices are okay. But as you're getting stronger, try to not use anything to hang on to pull you up with your arms, but use your legs to get you up if you can. So there's 4 functional things that'll basically test your function, as well as you can use those as exercises to maintain your function as you're aging. If you're having trouble with any of these, definitely check in with us, and we can help have a look at how you're doing them, and maybe give you some additional stuff to work on to maintain your functional movements. All right, so again, Blair Schachterly from Nose Creek Sport Physiotherapy, where we get you moving faster and feeling better. Take care, folks, and keep moving. Bye-bye.